The My First Reading Library is a wonderful set to teach your children how to read. It's also a great solution for those struggling readers in 2nd, 3rd grade that didn't learn phonics initially, and so now the words are too long for them to memorize and they are having struggles. And so this if you bring them back to teach them all the phonetic sounds, then they can be able to decode the longer words and be able to read. The My First Reading Library box set is a huge value. It has 50 books in it. And then that is actually only $1.60 a book. So 50 books for $79.99. And it includes, actually, it's all in paperback, what used to be in hardcover. So the very first reading program, this is what will teach children all the phonetic sounds. So this in hardcover was $69.99. So now it is included in the My First Reading Library as the first section here. And then it has both the level 1 and the level 2 readers. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about those. The first 22 titles in the My First Reading Library set will teach children how to read by teaching them all 44 sounds in the English language. What's super unique about the My First Reading Library is that it's not teaching all the sounds at once, all 44, because then it's like so overwhelming for kids. Instead, your first book will teach only these first 8 sounds, and then it progresses on from there. So let me show you that. How they're able to have a story with only 8 sounds when you're initially starting is that they have it where the parent is reading the small print and then the child's reading the larger print. And this larger print is only, again, made up of those first 8 sounds that they have. And then they have also irregular words that they just have to memorize because they don't match phonetic rules. So once they've learned those first 8 sounds, then they add on another 8 sounds here. And you can see the sentences get a little bit longer. So they'll have 2 books for book 1 and 2 books for book. So these are the 2 books for book 1 and book 2. And then you'll have 2 more books for book 3 and 4. And as you can see, they are trying to make sense. So they do, like, you know, the L and the double L, and then the Z double Z, or the CK on the other books. So they put the sounds together when they make sense. By the time they get to book 4, a child can read over 300 everyday words, and they have learned all the letters of the alphabet in their most regularly pronounced forms. Book 5 and book 6, you're going to have 2 titles for each of those as well to teach the children the sounds. Parents do tell me that the kids really love the stories, and they actually read the stories just for fun too, because it's that dual level reading. So book 5, you're going to start with the blends, and so you're going to have letter combinations that children are learning, but just again step by step, and they do it together where it makes sense for the children, and it's a real logical progression for them to work through learning all the sounds in the English language. But in addition to the books, just want to make sure that you know that there's also activity sheets and word banks for each of the books so that you can do some practice activities for the kids. And so this is all in a Google Drive, and so once you purchase this set from me, I send you a link to that, and it's just all compiled into one place for you to access. I also put the tabletop games in this Google Drive so that it's easy to access those, just to make the learning process more fun. And in addition, there's a free Teacher Monster to Read online game if you wanted to add that element to the reading process. You're going to have 2 book 7s, but then only 1 book 8, so I'll show you why. At book 7, you're going to have the dual level reading again, where the parents are reading the smaller print and the child's reading the longer print. They can read about 700 everyday words at book 7. And then book 8, they graduate and they get to read the whole book themselves. And so then there's only 1 book when they are starting to read on their own. Teaches more blends in book 9 and book 10, and more again in 11 and 12. There is a lot, but you just work at it step by step, and just with the practice sheets, it really can help them reinforce it. And so don't move ahead until they've got all of the sounds down. And book 13 and 14, they're almost to the end. You'll see that at book 14, they have a potential reading vocabulary of over 2,500 words. Book 15, the last book in teaching them all the sounds in the English language. And then what's next? They start with the level 1 and the level 2 reading practice books that are included in this set. So now you've learned all your sounds, you're ready to read. And so this set includes 12 of your Level 1 beginning practice books. The Level 1 readers are actually really like these because they're teaching some moral values as well, because these are classic fables and folk tales, and they are just super cute to read in addition to giving them the practice. Very limited text on the pages, but full illustrations, so it keeps the children's interest. Here are all the Level 1 titles in the My First Reading Library set. And you'll have even more practice with your Level 2 readers. There are 16 titles in that level. The Level 2 readers are 32 pages in length, but they have up to 250 words. And full color illustrations again, and a little bit more advanced storylines, and still the folk tales, but some maybe that you're not quite as familiar with. And here are all the Level 2 titles in the My First Reading Library set. And you can also buy additional Levels 3 and 4 for more advanced reading. Those can be purchased separately. So that's the My First Reading Library box set. Only $79.99 again. Huge value. Even if you want to buy these books just for the reading, just to read the fun little tales at only $1.60 a book, it's a great deal for you.